So much is going on in the AI video space, it's been crazy. Just yesterday, I released a video on using VO3 via the API and this N8N automation to create viral videos on autopilot. However, it was extremely expensive and they upcharged about 600%. But yesterday, I said prices might change, and they did. And they did actually for the better, but not with the API. This is one I did not expect. If you go over to Flow, which is Google's VO3 generator platform, and you go to the settings, you notice one new thing. There's VO3 Fast, text to video, beta audio. So the only difference is it says fast versus quality, but it says it's running VO3. And when you look here, it's only using 20 credits versus the traditional model is using 100 credits. So if we go over to this page right here, you will notice that 100 credits equals $1 according to these conversions. So we're looking at $1 per generation or 20 cents per generation on this new version. And if we go over to Fal and replicate, we can see that they're charging $4 plus. This is not even accurate because you have to add more time to make it 8 seconds. So they are charging $6 roughly on Fal and replicate. So that comes out to 30 times more expensive than it is in the Flow editor, which is really crazy. And I'll even show you some examples. I'll show you the old VO3 versus this new cheaper VO3, and you'll see that they are pretty similar in video quality and audio quality. This is the video that a few days ago cost me $1 to generate.
I think this was a bad idea. I should have kept it closed. I think this was a bad idea.
And this is using the exact same prompt with the 20-cent version of VO3.
I think this was a bad idea. I should have kept it closed.
So I'm not really sure why it's called fast. I mean, fast should be a good thing, and then it should be more expensive, you'd think. But either way, I think this model, which is only 20 cents, is completely viable for creating viral content online. So now we're back to the Instagram page, Holy Vlogs with a Z. I actually featured this in 2 of my videos, and that is to give you inspiration of how powerful these VO3 videos can be. Once you can have the characters actually giving speech, it becomes a lot more relatable online and stuff like Instagram. And they're now at 200,000 followers. Keep in mind, when I did my first video about 1 week ago, or less even, they were at 30,000 followers. So this has been explosive growth. And if you want some more insights on viral niches where you can get hundreds of thousands of followers just generating these now 20-cent videos, make sure to follow my newsletter. That's going to be my first article. Just enter your email here and I'll post that early next week. Now, with all that said, you wouldn't want to spend 30 times as much generating videos just because you're using the API. You'd just be so much better off doing it manually on the website, on the Flow editor, and that's probably what Google is thinking, and they want to capture your usage, and they don't want it done by someone else. So what I ended up doing is creating a new part of this automation where you can rewire it. It used to be wired like this using VO, but now you can wire it to this side and use Kling's API to generate video. It's a super simple solution, but I wanted to create an N8N automation to create video that is substantially cheaper than VO3. So as you can see here, this will only cost you 25 cents and then 4 cents for the image generation that needs to happen. So that is 29 cents. So you can create videos on autopilot using the actual API for substantially cheaper doing this. The only real downside, because Kling is a very competitive model too, is it does not do well with narration and like people talking in the videos. So now that you're caught up to speed, my personal suggestion would be to play around with this new VO3 model on Flow using Google's and try to go for the very best content that you can create. Generate everything 5 to 10 times until you get a really good iteration that could go very viral on social media, and kind of like Holy Vlogs, potentially clip of those together, and that's going to be your best strategy to get followers. You're not going to be able to do it completely automated, and if you do, you're just going to be spamming out tons of clips that aren't high quality, and that's going to de-rank you on most social platforms. So if you're going for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Instagram Reels, I highly recommend you go through the iterative journey on Flow. So here you can see this prompt that I created with the new VO format. This is the first time, the last time we did it with the $1, and I'm going to show you how it turned out.
I think I can outrun it. I think I can outrun it.
So definitely this type of content baits people in, because in the beginning they definitely think it's real, and even if they realize that it is fake, they've already watched enough to count as a view, and that's really kind of what you're going for. And if you string these together with a few other clips, you can really retention hack people and get some content that genuinely gets lots and lots of views and potentially followers. Okay, here's the automation that will create video content on autopilot using Kling 2.1, which is a very respectable video model that can generate stuff like this, and it's only going to cost us 29 cents per every 5 seconds, so it's going to be substantially cheaper than VO3. So we're going to go over to N8N, and one thing you might notice is I disabled this AI agent, and if you don't remember all this stuff, make sure to watch the last video that shows in-depth connecting it directly to the VO's API, and we do that through a service called Replicate. And in this new video, we're using another service that's very similar called FAL. But anyways, this is connecting to our Google Sheet. Here's our Google Sheet. This is the prompt we want. We can easily create one of those agents to come up with a bunch of prompts, but in this case, they're a lot more simple because they don't have the narration and stuff. So I just type some out here, and then it says to do or done. You just put it on to do if you wanted to generate it. And then we're going to go back here, and I'm going to be explaining all the steps. Now for this automation, you can import it because I'm going to be giving you the entire file for free. You can import the entire thing and just start to run it. You'll just need to configure your Google Sheets and your FAL information. So for FAL, it's just fal.ai. You're going to make an account and get your API key. You'll get that in the account settings. Just take that API key because you're going to need it for the next step. And you're also going to need to load it with a few dollars worth of credits. So on the first step, we're going to be getting the video idea. So this is essentially just getting the rows that are status to do, just matching the first row. So it's going to be getting waves crashing at the beach. For example, for my last one, when I rerun it, it will do the new prompt. So that's pretty straightforward. And we just have the sheet too, so we can paste the video when it's done. Now, one thing we need to do for this is, unfortunately, on FAL's models, the standard one only comes image to videos. All the other ones could do text to video. So in the intermediary, we're going to have to create an image and send it over, but that's pretty quick. So here's the first HTTP node, create image. So you're going to notice it's a post, and this is going to go to Flux Pro. All this will be entered. The one major thing you're going to need to change is your header auth. So for every single HTTP request on this automation, you need to change it to header generic auth type, or authentication generic credential type, header auth for the generic auth type, and then FAL. So what I did is I just typed FAL here. Your name is going to be authorization. Your value is going to be key space, and then your API key. And once you have that, you can just always set these three to this on your HTTP requests, and it should go through. So now we're just sending JSON of a prompt, and then that's followed by the prompt, which we're pulling from the last automation. So this is just going to generate you an image based on that prompt, and then we have a wait node, so it goes directly to wait for 45 seconds to make sure that that happens, and if this crashes, just increase the wait time. Then we're just doing a get image, so we're just taking the response URL and getting it, and that's going to give us the image URL. Pretty straightforward here. Just make sure your file is linked up. This is a different model, but you just need the same API key for it, so your file should be good if you set that up. And then the next node is the Kling 2.1 video creation node. So we give a post to this URL, which is right here. And if you ever get stuck, you can go to the API and get some examples, but you really shouldn't be if you're importing it. It should be really good. You just have to make sure that your header auth is connected the same exact way as it was before. Then we're sending the prompt, which I just noticed was typed into here, but we actually want to make sure that it's happening dynamically. So now that is fixed, and that is good. And then the image URL we are getting from the last node, the image that we haven't even seen, but it's been generated in the background. And then once we send this off, it should be good. Now our video will generate. that goes to await, and then that goes to a get video request, which is just taking our request ID and getting the status of it. And same thing, you're just going to need to make sure that your file is connected correctly here, and then this is just going to tell us when it's completed. And then we have this if statement, so if completed it moves on, if not it waits a little while longer and then checks, and that's just in case it errors out, because this process does take a few minutes, so this might run in a few loops before it ends. And then once we do that, just make sure this last node here is also connected to your file account. It's a get for the response URL, which was passed back in the last node. And once we do that, we have the MP4, and then we're just going to the sheet, make sure that this node and this node is connected to a sheet that looks identical to this, with these three headers right here, just prompt status URL, pretty simple. And then it's going to that row, it's updating it to done, and then it's popping the video in there. And then as you can see, I can just open this up, and it's generated me these waves, and I'll run it one more time for the new prompt. Okay, so we have this one as a to-do, so let's just run this and see how it goes. So it got that new prompt, and 1 second, forgot to unpin this node right here, and then we'll just try it one more time, and then this time it should actually be creating a new image and creating the video on that image. And there we go, it looks like it processed the video. Let's go here, see what it looks like, and there we go. Not quite the Los Angeles as the prompt said, but as you can see, we generated a video. And keep in mind, there's so many more things you can do. This is just a complete proof of concept, and I also went extremely fast. So if you didn't understand anything, I have, and I will link a few videos down below that will help you out in understanding N8N a lot better. But that template and this entire video is completely free to everyone. So if you don't mind supporting, enter your email in my email list, follow my x.com/mentor, and if you have Telegram, join my Breaking AI Tool Updates group. All three of those are great resources if you're trying to make money using and leveraging AI tools.